Hey, what's up, world? It's your guy, Steven Steers today. And as you can see, I brought my sales hat. My sales hat is on, which means there is a lesson today that I can share with you to help grow your business. This training is for you if you are a B2B service provider, solution provider, technology provider, or otherwise, or basically anyone that sells to a business. Or maybe to a consumer, actually, depending on which way you want to handle it. But the examples we're going to use today will come from the B2B sector. So this lead generation strategy is an evergreen one. It is one that I love because it allows you to do three things. It allows you to create lead lists with context, which means you have something automatically that you can talk to your prospect about without sounding salesy or ridiculous, which is huge because it increases the likelihood of you getting a response or having a meeting. That's number one. Number two, it's something that you can do all year, no matter what space you're in, if you use the strategy correctly. And then number three, it enables you to build lists for leads extremely affordably. Like I'm talking about, like I just did this same technique I'm gonna share with you the other day, and I got between 100 and 150 individual contacts for about $98. And that's outsourcing the labor to find the contacts. So we're gonna cover all of those strategies today. And the first thing we're gonna cover is actually what that strategy is, how it looks. Then we're gonna go into how you execute on the strategy and how you get that stuff done. And then thirdly, we'll talk about some light ideas on how to use this to continually fill your funnel with leads and context. This will work for you if you are a founder who sells for themselves. You are an SDR manager. This is a great way to get your team warm leads to have conversations with. This is just a great way to do things in context and hopefully increase your conversion rates. So with that said, I'm gonna share my handy dandy screen here. I'm gonna adjust the sales hat and we're gonna jump into some of the information here today. So friends, what you can see on my list is I put in insurance conferences 2021 in the USA. Yes, I spelled insurance wrong. I apologize, but Google thankfully knows everything and can reprogram the word to get me what I want. So I just clicked the first link here. It says 2021 USA insurance events by Plank. We go on Plank and Plank has an entire list of every event that's happening in insurance inside of the United States. Now, this same example can work for you if you're in e-commerce, if you're in machine learning or artificial intelligence, or restaurants, or whatever it is. I would start with a cursory Google search to find all of the events that are happening in your space inside of the next year. Now, as we all know, the world is opening back up again, and that means in-person events will be happening, and people are itching to go out and do them. Going to want to meet people, which means they're open to conversations. They've already identified and raised their hands to say, hey everyone, I want to go to an event. I want to meet people and I want to grow my business or learn something new. So that's the context in which we are going to work from today because someone's already said, hey, I'm curious and want more information. This is a great place to start. So first order of business is to take this exact list or the series of lists that you can create from a Google search like this and save them. You'll notice today's date is actually June 16th, 2021. So we have one event happening right now, and some of it's happening next week. We have another event happening the following weekend and so on and so forth. We have a bunch of events happening the rest of the year, which means these are already on the calendar and people will be going to these events. And here's where it gets fun. So let's go for the events that are happening right now. NAIC Insurance Summit. So we'll go to this page and we'll do my favorite piece here. This is how you know you have a good event. You use Control F, which gets you to find a word on the page. And we want to look for attendee list, which means we're gonna get past attendees. Here's where this is great. So I've already taken the liberty of opening this up on the page next to this. And this gives us an entire list of people who've attended all of their events in the past 2 years, so 2018 to 2020. If you know anything about insurance, if that's your sector, people tend to stay at these jobs for a pretty decent amount of time. So your likelihood of these leads, these actual people being still at the company is high. E-commerce may be different, AI or ML might be different, but again, the same exercise will take you to that conclusion, and in your specific instance or industry, that'll give you the proper tools to use. So what we have here, let's say we want to talk to underwriters or underwriting assistants. We have an entire list of people and we know which companies they're at. And now you're saying, Stephen, I don't know who this person is and I don't necessarily know how to find them. Well, don't worry, I'll cover that in a second. This is the strategy we work through. So we have this list here. So what we're gonna wanna do is download this and copy the link, okay? And then we're gonna go in and find potentially a second conference. So we go over here and we find NAMIC, pardon me, another conference over here. And then we also notice that they have the Control F and we can see past attendees as well. There we go. And then this is another list of 14 pages of contacts and it has their title and the company they're at. Now, what we do with this information is we outsource it. This is how we use the technique. So remember, we're saving every single event that's happening in our space in the market. If you're targeting the United States, this works. If you're targeting in Istanbul or some other place, there will be events that you can find. And if they have a past attendee list, you're in business. This gives you the context with which to outreach to someone to start a conversation. Now, how are we going to execute this? What I've done here is I've taken the liberty of creating an additional resource for you, which I'm going to share here on the screen. And this is a guide to outsourcing for this type of work. I use Upwork myself. Here, what I've done is given you all the steps to follow a training. This video is going to be included in that training. I'll give you a job description to share that you can update, of course, for your own brand and your own voice to make sure that people are properly doing the work that you want. And then I've included an example description that you can share with a virtual assistant to know and make sure that they're doing the right work for you, that you're only getting the right proper candidates. And then here is that job description. So you're gonna have this resource included in the description box below for you to click and download. And that will be the first place to start. Now, here's the next thing. Once we have these lists, what we're going to do, also included inside of the description box below, is to provide this Google Sheet. Now, here's what we got here. It is in black. Don't worry, your screen isn't messed up. I use something called Dark Reader because I stare at screens for a long part of the day and I don't want to have a migraine. Now, what we got? We have this entire list and I've given you a copy of this. You can download this and make a copy for yourself. And this includes all the information you may want to have a virtual assistant capture from these attendee lists. Look, we can get a description of the company, phone numbers, the category they're in, and the positions we want to capture. What I typically do is go to the positions tab, look for these particular positions, and then I copy and paste the URL for the virtual assistant to go in and find the leads from. Boom, now we have this list working. I choose to use a Google spreadsheet because if I'm really feverishly interested in working on a list, they can actually edit this list directly on here and I can access the list as they're building it so I can get this happening really fast. Typical turnaround for around 100 to 200 contacts can be between 2 to 3 days, depending on how quickly your virtual assistant works and how much you are charging or paying, pardon me. But this is generally the way it works. And then you just work from this list. You're gonna have LinkedIn's if you want them, email addresses, depending on which way you like to get in front, or other communication channels that you are interested in getting in front of and using with your virtual assistant. So this is exactly how I do it, exactly how I recommend you do it. To give you a quick review, number one is find the sector that you want to get in front of. In this case, we're using insurance as the example. Find pages that have all of the lists of events that are happening. Save that list. Then you're gonna find a list that has past attendees. Save that list of past attendees and then plug it into the Google spreadsheet document that I've provided for you here in the description box below. Make a copy, please. And then send that out to a virtual assistant on Upwork using the job description that I've created for you in that sheet right there. And they will come back with all of the information you need to give to your sales team, to give directly to yourself if you are running your own sales. And this will give you the capacity to reach out to anyone at any event, anywhere in the world, all year. This is an evergreen play that will always work and help you create conversations in context. Now, I've given you a lot of information here today, and you may have questions on how you should start a conversation. What should you say? What are possible ways I can make sure I'm getting meetings and getting in front of people? Well, I have tips and tricks on that too. So if this is useful for you in getting you started on where to get lead lists, let me know and I will think about doing a training for part 2. But otherwise, use the link inside of this description box that says book a call with me, and I'm happy to talk with you to learn more about how we can customize this exact strategy for your business to make sure you're getting the exact people you want and knowing exactly what to say to them that's going to drive them to, number 1, respond, and number 2, hopefully book some meetings with you and allow for you to extol the virtues of whatever solution, technology, or service it is that you provide. Now, with that said, friends, I know we've covered a ton of stuff. I wish you an incredible day and an even better week. And I remind you that selling is always better if you can do it in context. So with that said, friends, happy selling, and feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn. My description is also in the box below, and through my website, or follow me on any social media channel. Everything is at Steven Steers, and I look forward to hearing from you. Have an awesome day, and for my sales hat, we bid you good day. Take care, everyone.